Hey, and welcome to the Mickey and Minutes podcast, the short Disney show.
Quick conversations, information, and inspiration.
I'm your host, Nick Lazaga.
And I'm Andy Gootz.
Let's go! Hey, what's going on, Andrew?
Nicholas, back once again.
Dude, I am so stoked for today's episode.
I know, we have so much to talk about.
All right, so anybody who's been listening to the podcast knows that we were going to do Lorcana this time. We kind of promised like a lot on the last episode that
we're calling ourselves out. Maybe we should stop promising because it will happen eventually, but yeah, I don't know if we can commit to this anymore.
So the thing is, man, how do we not talk about D23 Expo? Like, this was insane.
And from what from the things you've been saying too, I guess from previous D23s, this is one of the biggest D23s that's ever been.
Dude, yes. We're going to kind of recap all the announcements from D23, all the parks announcements from the Horizons panel. And there's just so much to talk about. Even so, we're only going to talk about domestic parks. And there's still so much to talk about that this will be a two-parter.
So buckle up, y'all.
Let's just get started.
Let's do it, man. D23.
So Josh D'Amaro took to the stage, and one of the first things he said was, no blue sky. Everything we're announcing is shovels in the dirt. And the crowd just went nuts.
Every single thing that they announced was huge, and maybe not everything was a hit, and we'll get to that later, but 98% of everything that they said, the crowd went nuts for. And even us sitting on our couches watching this on our TVs, we were freaking out in our living rooms.
Dude, yes, absolutely. We were just texting back and forth.
I know, my favorite was just texting, or oh my God.
There were points where we were just texting just letters. Like, I can't even.
And we even had to refrain from what we were texting because we knew we had to save it for the podcast or else we wouldn't have enough to talk about.
I texted you. I think I literally said, save the big feelings.
Save it.
Save it. So we're going to just kind of go down the line. We're going to talk about some things and give our brief, opinions and thoughts on it. Let's do it. So the thing that I'm most excited for is actually something we already knew about, but just getting more information got me even more stoked. I'm talking about Indiana Jones coming to Animal Kingdom. So basically, they announced that this new land for Animal Kingdom, we've been referring to it as the Tropical Americas land. They actually gave it a name. It's going to be called Pueblo Esperanza, which translates to Village of Hope. And it's going to be beautiful. If you've been to Animal Kingdom, you know that the way they do their lands there are very lived in and they feel very real. And that's how they describe that this land is going to be. So as you walk into this land, they announced a brand new ride. It's going to be a carousel. And the story is that a wood carver local to this area made this carousel inspired by his favorite Disney animals.
Love it.
So on this carousel, you'll be riding just Disney animals. The one that they showed on the show floor at D23 was Kevin from Up. And it looks so kind of like weathered wood. It looks beautiful, dude.
And then even the painting that they showed on the D23 screen, I think you even saw Eeyore was on there, right?
Eeyore,
really, all
the pelican from Finding Nemo.
Right. Nigel the pelican. Yeah, I think this is perfect because again, it's Animal Kingdom. The spirit of the park is animals, and just there's something so elegant about a carousel that it's gonna fit perfectly in this new Tropical America's land.
Yeah, if you know Dino Land, this carousel is kind of taking the place of Triceratops Spin as the kiddie ride for the land.
Oh, good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. And so, like I was saying, Indiana Jones is the thing I'm most excited about. And on the last episode, we were talking about how it's not going to be a copy of either of the Indiana Jones attractions, either the one from Tokyo or Disneyland. So they said that this one is taking place in an ancient Mayan temple. And the story is that Indy has heard of a mythical creature that's lurking in this temple, and he's going to get to the bottom of what's there. That's kind of the animal tie-in, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what the mythical creature is going to be, but that makes me excited because part of the legacy of Animal Kingdom was this mythical creature's land that never got built.
Which is why even in the logo, there's a dragon for Animal Kingdom, right?
Exactly, yeah. So in a way, they're even kind of reaching back to Animal Kingdom history with an idea of a mythical creature. And what's funny is that when they were building Animal Kingdom, it came down to money and one more land could be built, and it was either Dino Land or Mythical Creatures. They went Dino, and now with this, they're kind of bringing back the mythical creatures. I'm really excited for it. The
Not
concept
so
art looked
much.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I
Yep.
liked it too, man. So the track system though will be the same, correct?
It'll be the same ride system as Dinosaur. They're gonna retheme the building and just kind of retheme the cars, and everything else is gonna be the same. But the story is an all new story. I will say part of the reason I'm so excited is because Indiana Jones is my favorite ride in Disneyland Park.
It's a great ride.
So it's great. I'm wearing an
He's
Indiana
wearing
Jones
an indie
t-shirt.
shirt right now. Yeah.
I am. I had to. I had to. So the other thing coming to the Pueblo Esperanza is an Encanto ride. And we talked about this on the last show. Andrew, you said, "Oh, it's probably going to be, Antonio and talking to animals." That's exactly what
That's exactly what they're doing.
That's exactly what they're doing. So the story is that guests will arrive on the day that Antonio receives his magical gift, which is talking to animals, and guests will journey through the house in vehicles inspired by the furniture
right?
of
Yeah, the
casita.
furniture comes to life. It's going to be
Yep.
escorting you throughout the house, and it didn't give away what kind of track system. It alluded that it could be a boat, it could be trackless.
I'm still banking on the rumor that it's going to be the same ride system as Mystic Manor from Hong Kong.
Okay, so yeah, so a trackless ride.
All of this whole area in Animal Kingdom will be open in 2027. And what's even more awesome is Disney is showing love to the fans by saying you're going to have time to say goodbye to Dinosaur.
Good.
They're going to start working on the rest of the land and leave Dinosaur open for a while.
Good.
Since that'll be a quicker, essentially just like a retheme. And I think they learned from a few years ago when they announced that Great Movie Ride would be closed for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And they didn't give any time. They closed Great Movie Ride 3 weeks later, I believe.
People got upset, man.
People got upset. So I feel like Disney's listening to us a little bit more. So that whole thing, that's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we summarized. You did a great job of summarizing everything that new that was announced is coming to Animal Kingdom. Can we talk a little bit about just the integrity of Animal Kingdom with these new updates? Now, I'm not saying I'm not excited for Indiana Jones, and I'm not saying I'm not excited for Encanto, because I am. Love the concepts, love the rides. But Nick, do they belong in Animal Kingdom, man? Are they Animal Kingdom rides?
Andrew, I was thinking a lot about this. Well, after they made these announcements, and the more I thought about, being stoked for Indy and all that stuff, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say they almost feel, I'm going to get
defend yourself.
I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. I love Dinosaur. I love Dino Land. But I'm going to venture to say that this feels even more Animal Kingdom than Dino Land did. And I love the story of Dino Land. I think we should do an entire episode, Andrew, on the backstory of Dino Land and stuff. It's so good. Yeah.
But why? Why, Nick? Why is this better than Dino Land?
I'm going to say this fit. I'm not going to say it's better. I'm going to say it fits better.
Okay.
Because it feels like when you're walking around the rest of Animal Kingdom, you go to like Harambe or like the Asia section. And like I said earlier, it feels lived in. It feels like it's an actual like real time and place on planet Earth, which is, yes, a direct knock to Pandora. It feels like that, like just from the concept art, it looks like it's going to feel really natural, like a natural transition going into this lived in place. Now, the rides tying into the animals, that's debatable, but I feel like the land itself is going to feel like Animal Kingdom. Okay. But Andrew, we did not talk about everything coming to Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
There is one more thing that we kind of already knew about. Zootopia Better Together.
Yes.
Which, if I was ranking, this would be almost dead last on my list.
Ooh.
Almost. Not quite, but
my
almost.
heart's breaking. My heart's breaking.
I love Zootopia, dude.
I do. Yeah, it's
and
my
this
favorite.
This attraction is going to be a 3D show. It's going to be replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug in the Tree of Life. It's coming winter of 2025. Here's why I think it's going to not be very good.
Okay, man.
A tree, bugs in a tree, that makes sense.
It does.
Honorary bugs, right?
Yep.
Full-size animals in a tree? What? Zootopia as a franchise deserves so much better. I've seen so much video of the land in Shanghai, dude, and sticking it as a 3D show inside of a tree, it doesn't make any sense. Nope. Boo.
Okay, so Zootopia is one of my favorite Disney animated movies. I love Zootopia. I think it's hilarious. Zootopia belongs in Animal Kingdom, but I do not disagree. I think just a 3D show doesn't quite do it justice. Yeah. I personally think Zootopia Land belongs in Animal Kingdom. That is the
agree
rightful
with
place
that.
for it.
110% justice for Zootopia, man.
It was made for it.
If you know your Disney history, you know Imagineer Joe Rohde, now Disney legend Joe Rohde. He was the Imagineer that spearheaded Animal Kingdom. This was like basically his baby. And the rumor is when he left Disney, it was partially because of a disagreement about Zootopia and Animal Kingdom.
Really?
He was saying that it doesn't belong there because of the realism of Animal Kingdom. But I've
Fair.
heard some really good arguments for it that I really like. Animal Kingdom is a celebration of Walt's love of animals, right? Even going back to the True Life Adventure series.
Yep.
And Walt really showed his love for animals by making anthropomorphic animals as the lead characters in many of his animated films. And Zootopia is a celebration of anthropomorphic animals in
Big
Disney
time.
films.
Big time.
So,
That's a great point.
yep, I hate to disagree with Joe Rohde, but sorry, I think it belongs. But moving on, man.
Okay.
Moving on.
All right.
So the next thing that I'm most excited about, it's also a Walt Disney World thing, and my wife insisted that I say that this is what she's most excited for, and that is Monsters Inc. Land.
Yes.
Coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Dude,
Perfect.
the crowd erupted with
Rightfully
this.
so.
Dude, we were shouting, we were screaming in my house.
Yeah, man,
yes.
we were too. This is absolutely perfect. And even, well, keep going.
All right, so this new land is going to be in Hollywood Studios. It's set after the events of Monsters, Inc., the 2001 movie, the original. And the story is that humans are invited to visit Monstropolis and tour the Laugh Factory. Dude, the ride inside the Laugh Factory has been a long time coming. Anybody who is a very long time Disney Parks fan knows that this ride has been rumored to be coming to Hollywood Studios since at the very least 2008. This is going to be a door coaster. Yes. The door coaster. You'll be inside the factory and you'll be on Disney's first ever suspended roller coaster. And you'll be kind of going alongside the track of the doors. Yes.
The ride.
So much yes.
The movie writes the ride itself. It like the Imagineers have so much to work with. Like, honestly, the movie did all of the work for them.
Yeah,
dude,
man.
I'm so pumped for this. Even when we were talking about our underused IPs, Monsters Inc. in general is a massively underused IPs. Like what we just have Laugh Factory and then the Dark Ride in Disneyland, right?
Yeah,
Those
Disneyland
really the only two Monsters Inc. things in the parks.
Yeah, there's another one in Tokyo, I believe. But yeah, this has been really underused.
So with that, Nick, it's an underused IP, and from what we know, it's going to be put in a very underused area. So Hollywood
that's the
Studios.
rumor. This is something we absolutely need to address because the internet is split on this. The rumors are going left and right. Yeah. Where is it going to be? So, in my opinion, the obvious answer and what I have heard from some really good sources is true is that it's going to replace Star Wars Launch Bay. Like you said, a very underutilized part of the park.
You don't need Launch Bay if you already have Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, Launch Bay is the old animation courtyard. That's where back when it was MGM Studios, they used to have the actual animators there making movies. We talked about this on our studios episode. Yep. So go back and listen to that. It was a good episode. And so now it's like a Star Wars like exhibit / meet and greet. Behind that are a bunch of just like executive offices. So between those two buildings and this whole area, there's also Disney Junior live on stage or Disney Junior dance party, whatever it's called.
And then
over
more meet and greets and also Ariel's and then the Ariel's the Little Mermaid stage show, which I enjoyed, but it's not currently up and running, is it?
It's not. They've announced before D23 that they're putting a new Little Mermaid show in there. But alas,
who knows if that's even gonna happen anymore.
This is the most obvious location for me because I feel like no one's gonna miss Launch Bay. And you could relocate these people that work in this office. I know that'd be hard, but you could do it. And it's a big chunk of space.
And there's a massive empty just courtyard in the middle of all of it that's really underused.
This is where people have been speculating it would go for years. But the other rumor is that it's going to replace Muppets and take over Muppets courtyard.
Oof. Oh, my heart is breaking for that.
Dude, yeah, you're wearing a Muppet shirt.
I'm wearing a Muppet shirt right now. Yeah.
So here's the thing, man. Muppet Vision 3D That's Jim Henson's last project. That's the
It
last thing
is.
he ever
Yeah,
worked on. That's a legacy project.
it is.
It still has people going through there. Pizza Rizzo, not a very good restaurant from what I understand. I haven't eaten there personally,
It's notoriously hated
but
by a
yeah,
lot of the Disney
but
purists.
it's Muppets, man.
Formerly Pizza Planet.
Yeah, but there's a lot of space back there they could be working with. Another thing that kind of feeds this rumor is since it's right next to Grand Avenue, you kind of already have
The
the
street.
suburban
Yeah,
street
yeah.
area with you playing the
City feel to
Monstropolis.
it.
Yeah, there could be enough room back there. The problem is the show building for a roller coaster would be pretty big,
It would be.
and it would disrupt the sight lines of Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a very good point. And that's huge for just Disney lore in general, is architecting everything to be in the immersive experience is very important.
Yeah, man. So, it can go either way. We don't know officially where that's going to go. We don't know. Could it be taking away a legacy attraction? I don't know.
Could you say that Muppet Vision 3D can never be rebooted or revamped?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily untouchable, but I would say it should live on in some capacity.
There
Absolutely.
it is. There it is. I agree with that.
But regardless, I
Okay.
don't think it's going there, man.
No,
The strongest rumor I've heard is Launch Bay. I'm pretty sure that's where it's going.
it makes the most sense.
Hopefully we know soon. All this fighting needs to stop.
And then even if you look at the picture that they showed for Monsters Inc. Land for the main Monsters Inc. building, the architecture of it
looks like
aligns.
Launch Bay.
It already looks like the entrance to Launch Bay. So
But Andrew,
that's a big rumor.
They showed two concept arts. And if you looked at the second one, there could be an argument that the building off to the right kind of looks
That's
like
right.
Grand Avenue.
Do you think they did that on purpose to just keep everybody speculating?
What I heard is that they released both because they were actually considering both areas.
Both. Oh man.
So, but I guess we'll see. We don't really know. We don't really know.
We're saying we're gonna definitively say Launch Bay here, and we said it, y'all.
We said it.
If it happens, then we can say that we called it.
We called it. There we go. That's so good. All right, so let's stick with Disney World for a second, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we did get a couple other things that I'm really genuinely excited about. Smaller things. A Spaceship Earth lounge at Epcot. This is a much smaller project, obviously. It'll be taking over the former Siemens Lounge, which is in the back of Spaceship Earth. If you're looking at it from the back, there's those big windows in that base building. The views from there are supposed to be extraordinary.
And they were advertising it too as a place to even watch the fireworks, have a drink, watch the fireworks in Epcot. Oh, I'm all for it.
I think this may be Disney's kind of little make good to the fans for not building that big festival center that was supposed to have humongous beautiful fireworks views. Remember that?
That's right. Yep, that got nixed.
This might be something like that. So that's really little. That's gonna be opening in 2025, but I'm excited for it. That's gonna be really hard to get into. It's gonna be one of those you got to wake up early and book that reservation.
I mean, as is everything. Like look at Space 220, right? That's equally as hard to get into right now.
Yep. On the subject of lounges, they gave a little bit more details about the Pirate Lounge.
Yes, the
Pirate
Magic Kingdom. Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
So I think the big debate about this is that Magic Kingdom is kind of a dry park. It's one of the only parks that you cannot walk around with alcohol.
Big time.
You can get alcohol, but you have to stay within the restaurants that you get them in. If this is like a lounge, do you think it'll be kind of like Olga's where, in studios where you can't take the drinks out? Or do you think it'd be like a bar where you can go in there, get yourself a beer and walk around Adventureland?
I imagine it being as a little bit more of an open bar. You can walk in, go up to the bar, grab a drink and walk out. But I also don't see it as being as like a kind of, I mean, you think of every other park, and because alcohol is so readily available, that the open container policy just seems like it's something that's comfortable while you're walking around the park. Magic Kingdom, it doesn't really feel that way. So no matter like even one additional bar inside of Magic Kingdom, I don't think is going to encourage the vibe of just walking around with a beer in Magic Kingdom. I think it's going to encourage people to say, hey, go into the bar, have a beer, do your thing, and then keep going on your rides.
I think part of the reason that I think that it could be a grab and go type situation is because its rumored location is going to be where the old Pirates League was.
Yes.
So yeah, if you guys don't know, when you come out of Pirates of the Caribbean in the Pirates gift shop area, there's a little door, and that's where they used to do the pirate makeovers for the children. And the rumor is that that's where this is going to be. That's not very big.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. It is
So it
small.
seems more like go in
The
there, feel the
concept
vibes, get
art
your
was
drink.
very grandiose. I mean, it showed a
Yeah,
full bar. It had a really cool chandelier that was like a wooden anchor with candles on it. It had people dancing on the bars and
which
whatnot.
leads to the other rumor, Andrew, that it would be where Tortuga Tavern is now. Tortuga
Okay.
Tavern just turned into Tortuga Treasures. Right now, it's a not permanent gift shop while they're doing renovations on the actual pirate gift shop.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could go either way. No matter what, I'm stoked for it because they're bringing back the Barker bird, the parrot that used
Yes.
to be outside of Pirates of the Caribbean and Magic
Yes.
Kingdom, and be like, "Rah, pirate ride, rah," And man, that was a good parrot.
But
That was a good parrot.
but let's take a note. Let's take a note from Oga's, right? So you walk into Oga's and it's Star Wars themed, and they really want to immerse you into the what would a bar vibe be inside of Star Wars? And they have Star Wars themed bar songs, right? They have Star Wars samples going with the DJ in the background.
Rex.
DJ Rex,
Yeah,
exactly.
man.
I want pirate sea shanties being sung in the pirate bar, right? Like,
Dude, yes, of course, absolutely.
right. Like, I want to
I want to
get that
swing my beer
authentic.
around and
Yes,
in a big
exactly,
like
Nick.
wooden mug or metal steel mug or whatever.
Bingo.
Dude,
Yeah, and that's I think if they really make that immersive, if they make it more of an immersive experience rather than a grab and go, it would really benefit Magic Kingdom and especially just the pirate area in Adventureland.
I agree. Again, another thing that will be really hard to get into when it opens in 2025.
Everything is already hard to get into, man.
Yeah, dude. Really quick, sticking with Magic Kingdom,
Yes.
they announced finally another nighttime parade called Disney Starlight.
About time.
Dude, we haven't had a nighttime parade. I think since Main Street Electrical left like a million years ago.
Yeah.
And I could not be more excited to have a nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom. I think it just adds so much ambiance to the park at night. I don't know if this means Festival of Fantasy will be going away. That's a daytime parade, but who
Right.
knows what their parade budget is. They
Good
could
point.
have two parades at the same time. But this looks great. I'm a huge Peter Pan fan, and one of the concept art floats they showed was Peter Pan.
Nothing will beat Main Street Electrical though. That was just OG and set the foundation for nighttime parades in general.
There's two more things that they announced for Magic Kingdom. One of them looks amazing, and one of them looks like pure garbage. So
let's
I'm not holding back, Andrew.
Let's start with the amazing one. What's the amazing one? And it was reserved for literally the very last announcement that they made at D23,
Yeah.
rightfully so. And they almost made it seem like they weren't going to say anything, and then
Dude,
the show
yeah,
was
they were
interrupted
like-
with this. Yeah.
They were closing out the show. They had this whole thing with like Deadpool on the stage, and he did this whole like performance. And Josh D'Amaro was like, "Oh, I bet you didn't think we'd be closing the show with Deadpool." And then all of a sudden on the screen, the magic mirror comes up, and
Perfect.
he's like, "Josh D'Amaro, you promised you'd talk about this." And he's like, "No, I'm not ready to talk about it." It was so funny.
What is it,
And
man?
they announced Villains Land, dude.
Villains Land.
So this was part of the Blue Sky concept for Beyond Big Thunder, which, as we've seen, so much Blue Sky does not come to fruition. It just doesn't. Rise Utopia was part of the Blue Sky for Animal Kingdom.
Yep.
That obviously never happened.
Yep.
So it was one of those things where Disney fans were like, are they actually going to do this? This is crazy. This is another thing, kind of like the Monsters, Inc. door coaster that people have been talking about for Magic Kingdom forever. This was even like rumored to be an entire new park
Yeah.
of Villains Kingdom. And so the fact that they announced this new Villains Land coming to the Magic Kingdom, it's going to be somewhere beyond Big Thunder. And the land will include two major attractions, Andrew, and dining and shopping. And as Disney put it, on an incredibly twisted grand scale.
So my thing about this, yes, it's amazing. This is going to be absolutely incredible. But you mentioned that Disney Villains Land was always a Blue Sky concept. But the announcement though, Nick, do you feel like this wasn't Blue Sky? Every other big announcement had a little bit more specifics. They gave the track system. They had an exact theme for a ride. Villains Land was still just very much, hey, we're going to do it.
I think it was less Blue Sky than last time, but they weren't ready to reveal specifics. And, Josh really did say that. He was like, we're not talking about this today. And that was part of the sketch with Deadpool.
Yeah.
But I think that was partially true, right? That they weren't super ready, but they knew this would get people super hyped. It was the best way to close the show.
Okay.
If you look at the concept art, you see a roller coaster in there.
You do.
Top left. Yeah. It's like thorns and stuff like Maleficent. You see Maleficent's dragon. There's even a point like towards the bottom where it looks like you're going underwater on some sort of vehicle. Could
That's
be the
right.
same roller coaster. Could be something with Ursula. I don't know. But if they make a Villains Land and we don't have some sort of Yzma roller coaster,
yeah, man.
what are they doing?
Again, the movie writes the roller coasters.
Yes,
Imagineers don't have to do anything. They just take it from the movie.
It writes itself. So I don't know what they're gonna do with this. I feel like, and a lot of people are kind of saying, "Oh, this is a direct competition to the Monsters Land coming to Epic Universe." They're doing the land based on the classic monsters.
I wouldn't say that it's competition, but it is needed, right? I mean, if Universal is going to be doing something that's going to dedicate a permanent spooky land to a darker theme to all of their IPs, Disney has just as good, if not better, dark IPs that they could utilize that the fans love. And it's needed to compete. It is. It absolutely is.
It is, man. And I just feel like you said, we have these villains that are just so beloved throughout history. Not, obviously, Frankenstein and Mummy and those are classic. But
Yeah.
I think as millennials, dude, we grew up in the prime of Disney movies. We also grew up in the prime of Disney villains, man.
We did. When Disney villains, when a proper
Scar,
Disney
Jafar,
villain, right,
dude,
was a thing. Because Disney villains as an
really
entity
anymore.
right, they've dropped off the mat. You made the point to me, Nick, when you saw Disney Wish, that Magnifico was an attempt to bring a proper Disney villain back to the screen.
Yeah, there's been so much, which is so much cool storytelling lately with the internal struggles like Frozen, or like the villain that you didn't know was the villain, like
Yes.
Wreck-It Ralph, stuff like that. But, you got to go back to the formula at some point. And, people love, Jafar, Scar,
Hades.
Ursula, Hades, all these villains that are villains from the beginning. You know who's good, you know who's evil, no confusion.
Black and white, they're a villain, man.
Andrew, could this be part of the reason maybe that Tiana's Bayou Adventure didn't have Facilier? Because they're going to put Facilier in some capacity in Villains Land, and they knew that already?
That's a good point, because that was a really big beef amongst a lot of people with Tiana's, that Dr. Facilier was not in there.
This could be part of it, man. So like you said, we don't know a whole lot about this. So, all right, that's it for Magic Kingdom. Let's move on.
All right, so
I'm joking about being done with Magic Kingdom. There is one more. Nick
is so excited about this, y'all. Nick has been waiting to talk about this all week.
So, and I'm still not going to talk about it, actually, which is funny, which is really funny, actually. I'm just going to hold this inside for a long time.
So we'll have a whole episode dedicated to it.
If you've been listening to Mickey and Minutes season 6, we had a 2-part series called The Future of Frontierland, right? And we were talking about Tiana's Bayou Adventure and how that's ruining the story and continuity of Frontierland. And, it seems like the Imagineers don't care. We were talking about they were getting rid of the Frontierland shooting gallery. They changed the Country Bears to sing modern Disney songs, which makes no sense.
We thought it couldn't get any worse.
And it did. They announced
much. This is making Tiana's Bayou look like perfect. It's perfectly. Yeah.
Compared to this, Tiana's Bayou Adventure would be my favorite ride.
Man. Yeah.
So they announced. Oh my gosh, people are gonna hate us. They announced Cars Land. All right. They announced a Cars Land is coming to Magic Kingdom, but the part that's making me genuinely shudder.
But real quick, the crowd was silent when Cars Land was announced. No one reacted.
Yeah, everything else was met with cheers and excitement.
Thunder.
And they said, Cars experience coming to Magic Kingdom. And you could hear cricket. You could hear a pin drop. I think there's one dude like in the back.
Yeah, nobody cared.
So, all right. But the problem with this, Andrew, and we'll get into this on the next episode. We're going to do Future of Frontierland Part 3.
Yes.
And the problem with this is that they're going to drain the rivers of America. They're getting rid of Tom Sawyer's Island So, the riverboat,
Yeah, riverboat,
all that
no more
stuff is
riverboat.
going away. And that is where Cars Land is going. We'll save our commentary for the
We'll
next
save
show.
that. You could tell our feelings about it initially, but we'll talk more in depth about that in a later episode.
So yeah, Frontierland as we know it is long gone. We will get there on the next episode, but we're not done here. We're not done here right now, Andrew.
No, we're not.
So moving on to Disneyland. Those were all Disney World days. No, yep, Disneyland content. Awesome. To stay true to being the short Disney show, we've decided to break up this conversation into 2 parts. Stay tuned for the second half, all about Disneyland's announcements from D23 coming soon. Then, as we mentioned, we will further discuss our thoughts on Cars Land coming to Walt Disney World's Frontierland on the next installment of our Future of Frontierland series. So lots of great Mickey and Minutes content coming soon, including more music from our side project, Hi Dad Soup. If you missed our pop punk cover of Go the Distance from Hercules, go back and listen to Season 6, Episode 12 of the podcast. That's currently the only place you can hear it. So now it's over to you. What Walt Disney World announcement from D23 are you most excited about? Please let us know by dropping a comment or a message on Instagram, or by leaving a review with your thoughts on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again for listening to the Mickey and Minutes podcast. If you liked it, subscribe and leave a review on Apple or Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at Mickey and Minutes, and check out mickeyandminutes.weebly.com for show notes and exclusive content.